Welcome to this week's edition of Natural Mojo. It's been a couple of weeks. I've taken a break and gone into the backcountry and done some deep dives, done some writing and contemplating about where I want to go next in my life. You know, I keep talking about the fact that we only have one life to live, and that's true of all of us. We don't have an infinite amount of hours left, an infinite amount of Saturdays left. And if you've crossed over in a particular time of your life, whether it be 40, 50, 60, and beyond, those Saturdays become less and less. And it might have occurred to you that unless you've taken some forward action and momentum to do something with the life and the energy that you have left, you're pretty well going to just slide off the edge. And the problem with just waiting and doing nothing is that I really truly believe unless we are using the energy begins to atrophy and probably become even more sick than it already will go wrong with our bodies. It's just a way of the world. It's just a way of life. There are people that manage to get to very old age and not much has gone wrong with them other than the fact that their cells have begun to degrade, and that's where the aging occurs until they eventually expire. And I don't mean to be crude, but that's just the way a lot of people are easily offended by things that we say. So you're always looking to try and put things in the nicest form possible. But you know what? I've decided I don't have a lot of time to try and make things nice and soft for you. I just want to be really honest with you. I want to get your attention on the fact that you don't have a lot of time. I want to get your attention to the fact that you are going to leave this existence with the best part of you still fully intact. And what I mean by that, you came into this life, into this world, into this existence with purpose and intention and support. You didn't come floundering on your own, yet we have become disconnected from that awareness based on the training and the environment in which we found ourselves, and of course the outside world always pounding into us that we are small and ineffective, and who are you to be great, and who are you to shine, and who are you to step up, and who are you to use your voice. Well, that is your calling, to step up and use your voice and become bigger than you are. Now, let me just take a moment to talk about becoming big. A lot of people become frightened by that. Oh, people like Pamela are talking in such a way they want me to become a world leader or become a statesman or woman or to be a CEO or to be a plethora of things that would require you to step out in front of masses of people. Absolutely not. That is not what I'm saying. Maybe you need to step up in your home. Maybe you need to step up in your own life for yourself. And nobody will ever know who you were or what great things you've done. I think the big lie of social media is that you have to present every little thing you've ever done every minute of the day. I baked a pie. I went on the scale. I was on the treadmill. I lost 10 pounds. I'm going to Paris. I bought a new car. I have a new mate. I'm getting married. I'm getting divorced. Whatever it is, we are living our lives out in front of people. So those watching believe that they have to do that too. No, if you never get on social media, it doesn't mean that you've somehow missed the mark. What I'm advocating here is for you to take a close-up look at where you're going with the rest of your life. I mean, I am someone that works with midlife women primarily who still feel that there is a lot of life left in them to live. And they want to unleash that power. They want to unleash the energy and the creativity because they're not done yet. But they just haven't shown how to trigger that little pool sitting there that is waiting for them to show up. And I speak from experience, and that's why I'm able to lead this conversation with such conviction, because I too allowed a great portion of my life to escape me without unleashing my best version, and I'm still working on it. I haven't arrived, and I have a very sneaky suspicion that I never will, but that doesn't mean that I don't begin the journey. I think a lot of people say, well, I'm now almost 60 years old, so why bother? I only have so much time left, and I might get sick, or I might need a hip surgery or what have you. That's not the point. What can you do today? Because tomorrow is not promised to any of us. The mere fact that you think that you're going to somehow make it to age 70 or 80 or 90 is foolish. all you have is today. And who's to say you're even going to make it to the end of today? Things like heart attacks happen, accidents happen. There's just so many things that occur that preclude you from living a longer life. So don't wait around thinking that there's a tomorrow. There's only today. So what can today look like for you? Well, you see, that's the other problem. You have no idea because no effort has been made to sit down with pen and paper and start writing things down. What do you want? What's standing in your way? What are your likes and your dislikes? You see, so many aspects of yourself have been hidden from your awareness because no time has been taken to ask these very foundational questions. I call them the know thyself questions. And if you've been watching any of my videos, I talk a lot about know thyself, and I'm always putting up that offer at download called What If. I do that because I know how difficult it is for people. If somebody walked up to you right now and say, hey, what is it that you want? You'd sit around shaking your head or change the subject, or probably even get mad at the person for asking in the first place because you wouldn't have felt prepared. But what if you were prepared? What if you were, anytime somebody asked you, what is your vision? What is your plan? And you're able to take out a little index card and you've gotten all your stuff written down there. Are you that prepared? Because that's what life is waiting for you to do. Life wants you to be so prepared that in a moment's notice, it's running the program in your mind as to what it is that you want and how you want things to unfold. Because you have been given the job as co-creator. But if you're not co-creating, there's an empty position here. There's an empty position waiting to be filled by you, because you see, life is always creating, life is always going on. It's not standing still waiting for you to make up your mind about what you want to do and what you want to unfold or who you want to become. It continues to go. The mere fact that you're stuck on default somehow and just continuing to get up and do the same old thing and living a very tunnel vision life is irrespective. Life is irrespective of what is that you're choosing to do at any given time. All right, it's not waiting for you to I wonder when, Pamela is ever going to make up her mind about choosing what she wants to do so we can get on with helping her to create what she needs. Not handing it over without any effort, but helping her, with guidance and with inspiration and inspired action and all of it. Once she makes a plan and says go, everybody jumps in. Life jumps in. But you don't believe that, because you're lacking trust. And I want to present something called stigma therapy. And they usually use that languaging in the realm of mental illness and working with clients and such as to how we build and grow around our self-concept and self-esteem and such. And I want to use the stigma theory in the context of our midlife years and how we see ourselves and the societal norms or languaging around getting older, where you're placed on the shelf and you're now invisible, and what are you good for, and how are you contributing? And you feed into that, you buy into that language, you buy into that narrative, especially as a woman. For men it's somewhat different, but for us ladies, we buy into the fact that we are no longer productive human beings, that we can no longer do anything. And I think now, if you look through your social media feeds, the language is picking up around the beauty and the majesty of this mystical time. I call it the burning, because as you can see, I'm on camera and the burning is happening. A flash just came in like that. I'm changing, but that's the whole point. I'm physically changing. I can see the changing, but I use this time and I see this time as a wonderful time. I don't line up to the stigma of menopause or midlife or aging. To me, here I am. I'm now coming into my own. I'm coming into my strength and my power and my greater pools of wisdom and intelligence. I can't wait to be known for that to myself and to others so I can be of service. So have you bought into the stigma of a midlife woman and what that means historically for you? Have you bought in to the fact that you have nothing to contribute to life anymore? Have you bought in to the fact that you are just going to wither away and become a little old lady that is in people's way? What are you buying into? What's the story you're telling yourself? At the beginning of this video, I said, in a booth somewhere, just keeping things very real today. I'm not here with all the fancy video things that I usually do, because to me, there is a silent war that we have to face. We look on the landscape and we see the news is showing us devastating images of war across this planet. And we say, ain't that awful, don't we? Yet we have missed the biggest war of our lives, which is right here between our ears. The war that says who we are, the war that dictates our every actions, the war that keeps us small, the war that continues to feed us the darkness, the war that makes us sick and keeps us sick, the war that keeps us lonely, the war that keeps us poor, the war that keeps us divided, the war that keeps internalizing itself over and over again because we are looking the other way. We don't see it as our problem, as our responsibility. And this is the charge that I've taken up, a personal one, first to do the work on myself. I can't come and tell you what to do if I can't get a hold of myself, if I can't get a hold of the promises that I make to myself, the promises that I make and I break. And it demoralizes me at times when I do that. And well, who's going to know? I know. It takes my energy down just a little bit further, right? And how am I going to be a leader of any consequence if I cannot lead myself? If I can't listen to my own word, how am I going to help you with that principle in your own life? So this is something that I work on every day. And when I backslide, I slide back, I fall down, I miss the mark, whatever term you want to use in that context, I look at it. I don't run, I look at it, and I forgive myself. I don't trash myself and start saying all kinds of things like, oh, you're so stupid, you can't do anything, what are you good for? You know, all of these languaging pieces that we have so become accustomed to using against ourselves. We are our greatest enemy. You think those other people are your enemy? You are the enemy that you refuse to look at. And I'm incredibly emphatic with my speech here today because I see it getting out of control out there. Everyone's talking about what they can do for you. But what can you do for you? You are your greatest teacher, mentor, coach. What can you do for you? We are awash in information. There is no excuse as to why you can't put together a plan. Start with a vision. What do you want? Start with a vision, write things down. It doesn't have to be fancy, neat, tidy, legible, any of that. Put it down. Have a conference with yourself, right? Put things down. Ask the questions. You don't know what questions to ask? I can help you with that. I have all kinds of information you can download. Go to mojoresources.ca and start there. I have my new book, which is 80 things not to give a flying fig about and what to do instead. And it has a host of things that you can start working with right there. There's just so many places to start, but you are the center point of all of this. Okay? And if you have that inner fortitude to sit and go through the work and work with your shadow, work with that dark side. We all have a shadow. We all have the light. We all have the darkness. We all have the potential for good, and we have the potential for evil. And every day that we open our eyes is our opportunity to say yes to one or the other. Say yes to life or say yes to death. What are you saying yes to every day? And even though you may not be saying yes to a physical death, you might be saying yes to a spiritual death. You might be saying yes to demoralizing yourself, yes to giving up on yourself, yes to lambasting yourself, as opposed to saying yes to life and yes to rising, yes to growing, yes to learning, yes to loving, yes to seeing yourself as divine, yes to seeing yourself as the co-creator. All right. And it will be messy and it won't be perfect and it'll be all manner of things and you'll lose people and people will find you and all kinds of things will happen. But this is about keeping your center point strong and steady as everything else is blowing around you, because right now there's a lot of things blowing around, isn't there? So today is just a video to get you and to get me back to center as I recalibrate. I'm asking you to do the same in your life. When you miss the mark, get up, dust yourself off, begin again. Because that's what life is. It's a spiral. It's not one straight shot up. I don't care what anybody says. I've yet to see someone that had a straight bang at life, all perfect and noteworthy. Mine was a mess, continues to be messy in places, but I know one thing. I know that I am capable. I know I'm strong, I know I'm resilient, and I know I'm worthy, and I'm enough. And I want you to be able to say the same thing for yourself. So I'll leave it there for today. I'm going to be gone again into the backcountry, into the wilderness, where I get fed there with that energy and that light, and I get a lot of great inspiration, and I do some good writing and creating and just have fun around a campfire. Maybe I'll film that this weekend for you, but find your own place of comfort. Find that sacred space in your life where you can connect to your source, to your beautiful I am presence. I have an I am presence, my beloved magic I am presence. I call her, and I call on her frequently. I ceaselessly talk to her all day long, in here and in here. All right? So find your guide, find your source of power, find your mojo, and I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.